What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Physical Media Friday. Mr. Dan here, as always. I've got just kind of a variety this week of things that I've picked up from eBay and perhaps Hamilton Book, I think, are the two sources tonight. First, let's do a couple or three releases from eBay. There was a buy two, get one. I think it was buy three, get 20% off of each one. It was a deal. The funny thing is, I got these three. Oh, I was looking at the possibilities and going back and forth, and I'm sure that you guys have done this where you spend before you know it, an hour goes by. And I was actually looking at Godzilla versus Megaguirus. That's the Godzilla film that I most want to see now because I've never seen it. And like 10 minutes later, I forgot. So I didn't get it. But I think, you know what? I'm probably just going to go ahead and get the whole Godzilla set. Maybe for next Christmas. Santa will be good to me. But that's not going to happen anytime soon. But here are the three that I got. I had to have this classic. This was one from my youth. We had like a pay-per-view, like a box. You would have to do this complicated ordering procedure. Call in and everything. And I actually ordered this once. And I think I would have to give my mom like $3.15 or whatever. And something happened and I missed the beginning of it. And I couldn't watch it because I just wouldn't watch a movie if I missed the beginning of it. So I ended up getting it again and I loved it. And I still like it. It's a little dated, of course, but we're talking about Razorback. Okay. Directed by Russell Mulcahy, starring Gregory Harrison. This is from the 80s. Just based on a book, actually. But just tons of fun. And I would say this movie has one of the best trailers ever made. Period. End of story. If you find the original trailer. It has the advantage of incorporating some of the dreamy sequences that the main character experiences when he hallucinates when he's in the desert. But so you're watching the trailer going, oh, this looks like a movie about a giant pig. But what's all this other weird stuff? So it's a good trailer. Razorback. So pretty decent effects. Russell Mulcahy was, he directed music videos, and he was of that sort of breed of director who incorporated some of that little bit of that flashiness in his films, but a new breed of terror. Yeah, so that's a good one. And then also, rounding out I'll get them all down at the end and show you my John Carpenter collection, but this is one I didn't have. I did find it recently and rewatch it somewhere on streaming. I think I had remembered like 2 out of the 3 stories. Body Bags, okay? There you see, who's that?
Is it? Which brother is that? James Keach?
Stacy Keach. You got Stacy Keach. Pretty good cast in here. Alex Datcher. Mark Hamill's in this. Special appearances. Guest appearances by Deborah Harry, Sheena Easton, Twiggy, David Naughton, John Agar. Yeah, John Agar from Tarantula and all those Return of the Creature. Many others. David Warner. And cameos by Wes Craven, Toby Hooper, and Roger Corman. Yeah, it's a fun one. It's a fun one. It's not my favorite anthology of all time. It's funny, 2 out of the 3 are kind of like body horror stories, and then one of them isn't. So it's almost like it could have been a little more consistent with the theme, but whatever. It doesn't matter. They're just 3 pretty good stories. Anyway, I liked it. And then the other one that I got in that deal was a 4-film collection. Which looks pretty good. I don't think I've seen any of these. Let's see. Blaxploitation 4-film collection. We've got, this is the title they have here. The Legend of Black Charlie. The Soul of Black Charlie. Superfly, TNT, and Detroit 9000. Okay. Superfly TNT with Ron O'Neal. I just saw him in a film with Reb Brown. Did I show that? Mercenary Force. Did I even show that on the channel?
What if I showed that on the channel?
Mercenary Fighters. Okay. So I always like to see Ron O'Neal show up in things. Of course, this is the role that he's probably most known for, I guess. The The 2 Black Charlie movies feature Fred Williamson and D'Urville Martin. And then Detroit 9000 features Vanetta McGee, Herb Jefferson, and Ella Edwards. That one's directed by Arthur Marx. That's Groucho Marx's son. Yeah. Let's see what we got here. Oh, cool. Cool. Look, they each have their own disc. These are DVDs. What do we got on the inside? Oh, we just got other films from whatever company this is. Via Vision. Looking forward to watching those. Next, we have a film. I believe this is actually public domain. This is one I think might be. I haven't seen it, so maybe I should see it first before I say this. But I think it would be a candidate for a remake. Maybe I should really see it and then make that judgment based on, just based on how sort of quaint it is and how they handle the subject matter. Go for Broke. They say it's MGM's famed successor to the famed Battlegrounds. So they're kind of attaching it to a more well-known war film that stars Van Johnson. This is about the 442nd Regimental Combat Team, which, if you remember the Karate Kid story, that was the unit that Mr. Miyagi was in after he was interned as a Japanese American in World War II. I did read a book about this unit years and years ago. You basically had recruits from Hawaii and then recruits from California and Las Vegas had to come together and form a cohesive unit, and they served in Europe with great distinctions, and their battle cry was "Go for Broke," which means shoot the works, as they say. 92 minutes, black and white, 1951. This is from VCI. Bonus original theatrical trailer. Okay. Starring Van Johnson and Henry Nakamura. So interested to see that. And then we have some lower budgeted Scream Theater titles. Apparently there's a bunch of these. I almost wonder if I have any. Volume 9, it says. We've got The House of the Living Dead and Night of the Bloody Transplant. So open the door to terror if you dare. These are going to be lower budgeted films. I really almost don't recognize anybody in any of these, which is a little bit strange. And then we have films. I know Gareth mentioned these on his channel the other night. The commercials for these just seem so sleazy back in the day. These were like forbidden fruit movies that you would want to stay up on cable and watch. We've got Angel and Avenging Angel. High school student by day, prostitute by night. But apparently the first one is almost more like a serial killer film. With the help of a detective, she must navigate the dangerous streets of Hollywood to uncover the killer's identity and survive. Okay. Who is this? Who plays the... Oh, Rory Calhoun is in the first one. Sandy Howard is in the second one. No, Sandy Howard production. That's not the... Betsy Russell? Is that who this young lady is? Okay, Rory Calhoun is in the second one. Second one has special appearance by Ossie Davis. Both directed by Robert Vincent O'Neill. Susan Terrell. Is it Susan Terrell? Is that who plays Angel? She's in both of them. The second one is Avenging Angel. I'm sorry. Did I mention that? Avenging Angel. Okay. Angel's back with a vengeance. Next, Shudder original film on Blu-ray. I like the fact that Shudder puts out their movies on physical media. Many of you know that I got into some Indonesian horror films last October. Didn't review as many of them as I wanted to, but I did review a few. And this is one that's directed by Joko Anwar that I've heard about. He's one of the best directors they have there in the horror genre at the moment. But smart and provocative, all kinds of creepy. Impetigore, directed by Joko Anwar. Let's see if I recognize anybody. Nope. And lastly is, this looks like a trauma film. Not sure if this is like an actual like trauma film or a film that Trauma distributed. I'm thinking it probably is the latter. Bonus scenes from Trauma's War and More. Okay, but this is a film directed by John Bud Carlos, Skeleton Coast. We've got Ernest Borgnine, Robert Vaughn, and Oliver Reed. When the terrorists kidnap your son, it becomes your private war. And they've got lots of trauma extras, including that bizarre radiation march short with the kids, which I talked about in my, what was that, Warriors of the Year 2067, which was a Lucio Fulci movie that, I believe it was a Fulci movie that Troma released. But yeah, all the kind of weird trailers that they have, Make Your Own Damn Movie box set, Film School in a Box, learn about the only true independent film festival with the Troma dance essay. Yeah, just weird stuff. Skeleton Coast. Anybody seen it? Have you heard of it? Let me know in the comments below. Or how about some Indonesian horror? Some films the Angel films that showed up on HBO back in the day, late at night. Scream Theater, Go for Broke. 4 Blaxploitation films, John Carpenter's Body Bag, and some Outback Giant Pig Terror, and Russell Mulcahy's Razorback. We'll close things out today by looking at my updated Hammer collection. Since I did have a comment on my review of To the Devil a Daughter from Bushman Blue 426 asking me if I would be interested in doing just that. So here it is. So we got a couple oddballs. We got a compilation here of Sherlock Holmes movies. Of course, only The Hound of the Baskervilles is Hammer. The original Woman in Black was not a Hammer film, but then the 2 sequels are. Here's a couple films from their reincarnated era. And then we have the Synapse films that I showed in a previous video that I picked up a little while ago. And as I said, I saw that they were putting out Dr. Blood's Coffin. I didn't even have this on my Hammer shelf and didn't know it was a Hammer movie. Apparently it is. This version is fine. That's not one of my favorites. Anyway, here's a lot of compilations. Got the Mummy on that one. Many of the Dracula and Frankenstein films are on here. This one is that crazy one that has the Universal Phantom of the Opera poster. How could they make a mistake like that? A couple double features there. Let's just keep going. And then we have some of the Frankenstein sequels that I needed. Some of the Dracula sequels that I needed. And the one Mummy sequel that I have. Don't forget the Curse of Frankenstein mega release that I showed in another video. And here are the rest of them. I definitely need to get the rest of the Quatermass films. And here we have some non-horror films, some film noir. 8 films on that one. And here you got a double feature. Some of these are directed by Terrence Fisher. All pretty good. And then you have this collection, Icons of Adventure, which features 2 of their pirate movies there. Landlocked pirate movies. Anyway, there you go. That's my Hammer collection. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Or leave any comment you want about the video today. And I'll see you next time for another Physical Media Friday. Thanks.